Hi guys, Bobby here, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this really fun snowman ornament. So this guy is really easy to crochet and he makes a great little homemade gift for family and friends. To make him, you're going to need some number 3 worsted weight yarn. The brand I'm using is called Mira and I'm using white, orange, a light blue, and a dark blue. And I ran out of my Mira red, but since we're only using a little bit of red, I decided just to go with the red heart because we're just going to use it for the border of the hat. You will also need some yarn scissors. You will need a 4.0 millimeter hook or a G6 hook. You will need a yarn needle, a 2-inch pom-pom, and I'm going to use a red pom-pom. You will need some red thread and a thread needle, a stitch marker so that you don't lose your place while crocheting. You will need some stuffing so that you can stuff the snowman when you're done, and I used polyfill fiber for my stuffing. I used a tiny bit of black yarn. And the last thing you're going to need is some 10 millimeter safety eyes. I ended up using some blue ones. Okay, so if you're not sure where to get some of your supplies, I will make sure to put some links below in the description box for all of the supplies that I'm using today in this video. And also make sure to go and grab the written pattern from my website so that it makes it easier to follow along. And I'll go ahead and put that link in the description box below as well. Okay, to start this pattern, we're going to make a magic ring. Now, if you don't know how to do a magic ring, I will link my video on how to do this in the description box below as well. Now we're going to place 6 single crochets into the ring. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 single crochets all into that ring. Then go ahead and pull the ring closed. And now we will place 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So there's 1 and 2 single crochets into the same stitch. There's 1 and again 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and we will do this all the way around. So there's 1 and 2 to the same stitch, 1, 2 into the same stitch. Moving to the next stitch over, we'll place 1, and there's 2 into the same stitch. Now you should have a total of 12 single crochets for round 2. I'm going to grab my stitch marker and place it into the last stitch that I just made so that way I can keep my place. For round 3, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next stitch and then 2 single crochets into the stitch after that. And we're going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So in the first stitch we place 1 single crochet. In the second stitch we place 2. So there's 1 and 2 into that same stitch. We'll just repeat this all the way around. So again, in the next stitch, place 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch, place 2. So there's 1, and then there's 2 into the same stitch. And remember to just keep repeating that pattern all the way around. So pause the video and I will meet you back here for the next round. And just make sure you get 18 single crochets when you're finished with round 3. Okay, for round 4, just make sure to move your stitch marker up. Go ahead and place 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that same pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet, and then 1 more into the next stitch over. And now 2 single crochets into the third stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Now repeat that again. So 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the following, and then 2 into the 6th stitch. So there's 1, 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so pause the video now and finish that row. Remember to keep following the same pattern. And when you finish round 4, you should have 24 single crochets. Okay, so for round 5, remember to move your stitch marker up. We're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the next stitch over. And we'll repeat that all the way around. So there's 1 into the first stitch, 1 into the second stitch, and 1 into the third stitch. Now place 2 into the fourth stitch. So there's 1 and 2, both into this 4th stitch, and then we'll do it one more time. 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the following stitch, and then 2 into the next stitch. So go ahead and pause the video and finish this round, and you will get a total of 30 single crochets when you're finished. Okay, so moving on to round 6, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then 2 single crochets into the following stitch. So there's 1 into the 2nd stitch, 1 single crochet into the 3rd stitch, and 1 single crochet into the 4th, and in the 5th stitch make sure to place 2. So there's 1 and 2. So go ahead and repeat that pattern. There's 1 into the next stitch, 1 again into the next stitch, 1 again, and then 2 into the following stitch. There's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So again, pause the video, go ahead and finish the round, and make sure you have 36 stitches for this round. For round 7, we're going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches. Then we're going to place 2 single crochets into the next stitch, and we'll repeat that around again. So there's 1 single crochet into the 1st stitch, 1 into the 2nd, 1 into the 3rd, again into the 5th, and remember to place 2 single crochets into the 6th. So there's 1 and 2 into the 6th. Then repeat that around again. So in the next 5 stitches, only place 1. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and now place 2 into that next stitch. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so go ahead and finish this round and make sure you have 42 single crochets by the time you're finished. Okay, so moving on to round 8, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 6 stitches, and then 2 into the following stitch, and then just repeat that pattern. So there's 1 into the 1st stitch, 2 into the 2nd, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll place 2 into the 7th stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so finish off this round and make sure you get 48 stitches when you're done. Okay, we're on round 9. We're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then 2 into the 8th stitch, and just continue following that pattern. So there's 1 into the 1st stitch, 1 into the 2nd, 1 into the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 6th, 7th, and remember to place 2 into the 8th stitch. So there's 1 into the 8th and 2 into that 8th stitch. Okay, so again, pause the video, finish the round, and make sure you have 54 single crochets when you're done. Okay, so rounds 10 through 18 are going to be super easy. We're just going to single crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and pause the video and finish up those rounds, and make sure you have 54 stitches in each one of those rounds. And I'll meet you back here for round 19. Okay, so for round 19, it's going to be a little different. We're going to single crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. And then again, repeat that pattern all the way around. So let's start by making our 7 stitches. So there's 1 single crochet, there's 1 into the 2nd stitch, 1 single crochet into the 3rd, 1 into the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and now into the 8th and 9th, we're going to single crochet those 2 stitches together. Now, if you don't know how to do that, I will also leave a video link in the description box below on how to do that. I'm going to show you that pattern one more time. So there's 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the 3rd again, 1 into the 4th, 1 single crochet into the 5th, there's 6, there's 7, and single crochet these next 2 stitches together. Okay, so pause the video, finish that round, and make sure you have 48 single crochets, and I will meet you back here for the next round. Okay, so before we move on to the next round, let's put our safety eyes onto our snowman. And when you go to put the eyes on, make sure they're attached between the 16th and 17th rounds and about 5 stitches apart. Now you don't have to do it this way, but that's how I'm going to do mine. And when you're happy with your eye placement, go ahead and attach the back of the safety eye onto the eye. And when you're all finished, let's go ahead and move on to the next round. Okay guys, so moving on to round 20, it's just going to be an easy round. We're just going to single crochet in each stitch around. Make sure you get 48 single crochets, and go ahead and pause the video and I'll meet you back here for round 21. Okay, so starting on round 21, we're going to single crochet into the next 6 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together and then just repeat that around. So there's 1 single crochet, do 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the 3rd stitch, 1 into the 4th, 1 single crochet into the 5th, 1 single crochet into the 6th, and now we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. This is also called a single crochet decrease. I will show you that one more time, so go ahead and place a single crochet into the next stitch, 1 more into the next, so that'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together, or single crochet decrease. Go ahead and finish this round and make sure you have 42 single crochets when you're done. Pause the video and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, for round 22, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and pause the video when you're ready. Make sure to have 42 single crochets and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, for round 23, we're going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches and then single crochet 2 stitches together. And remember to repeat that around. So there's our first single crochet in our first stitch, 1 single crochet in the second, 1 in the third, 4th, and 5th stitch, and then we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Okay, so finish this round. Make sure you have 36 single crochets, and I will meet you back here for the next round. Okay guys, for round 24, we're just going to single crochet in each stitch around, and make sure you get 36 single crochets on this round. Okay, so before we move on to the next round, it is a good time to start stuffing our snowman, and I like to stuff mine really full, so make sure to put a lot of stuffing in there and get them really nice and full. Okay, so moving on to round 25, we're going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches, and then go ahead and do a decrease, which is a single crochet 2 stitches together, and then repeat that around. So there's our first single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 into the third, 1 into the fourth, and then remember to do a decrease by single crocheting 2 stitches together. Okay, go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around. Make sure you get 30 single crochets. Pause the video and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, for round 26, we're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches and then do a single crochet 2 stitches together and then repeat that around. So here's 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, 1 into the third, and then go ahead and single crochet 2 stitches together. I'll do that one more time with you guys. So we'll do 1 single crochet into the first, 1 single crochet into the second, then 1 into the third, Then we'll go ahead and do a decrease by single crocheting 2 stitches together. Okay guys, finish off this round and make sure you have 24 single crochets. I'll meet you back here for the next round. Before moving on, let's just make sure to keep stuffing our head as you work so that way you get it nice and full. Okay guys, so moving on to round 27, we're going to go ahead and place 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together and just continue to repeat that around. So there's 1 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the second stitch, and now let's single crochet 2 stitches together. So there you go. It's getting a little bit harder to work around because of the stuffing. Okay guys, finish off that round. Make sure to do 2 single crochets and then 2 together. Make sure to get 18 single crochets when you're finished, and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, so before we move on to round 28, just remember to keep stuffing the head if you feel like you need to. And this time we're just going to single crochet in 1 stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together and repeat that all the way around. So there's our first single crochet, and then remember in the next 2 stitches, go ahead and single crochet those together. Remember to place 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then decrease the next 2 stitches. So single crochet those next 2 stitches together. Okay, finish that round off and make sure to have 12 single crochets, and then I'll meet you back here for the next one. Okay, round 29 is our last round for the head. Remember to keep stuffing. We want it nice and full. And since this is our last round, all we're going to do is single crochet all of our stitches together. So the next 2 stitches, make sure to single crochet those together. Now single crochet the next 2 stitches together. And I apologize, this is a little hard to do on camera, but as long as you kind of understand what we're doing. Okay, so go ahead and single crochet the next 2 stitches together, and we're just going to do this all the way around until you're done. Okay guys, just finish this row off. Just make sure to get 6 single crochets, and then I'll meet you back here to finish. To finish the snowman's head, we're going to fasten off. Go ahead and grab your yarn needle, and we're just going to weave the head shut. And just go ahead and stitch back and forth through the head and weave it shut. It doesn't matter if it's gray because the hat's actually going to cover this part anyway. Okay, so when you feel good about that, just grab your scissors and cut off the tail end. And now we'll move on to the next part and make his carrot nose. To start his nose, we're going to begin again with a magic ring. And this time we're going to work 4 single crochets into the ring. So there's 1 single crochet, there's 2, 3, and there's 4 into the magic ring. And then go ahead and pull that magic ring closed. And for round 2, we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then into the next stitch we'll place 2 single crochets, and then we'll just repeat that around. So remember, just place 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and now we're going to place 2 single crochets into the second stitch. So there's 1, and there's 2 into the second stitch. Now just place 1 single crochet into the next stitch. So there's 1, and then place 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1, and then 2 into that same stitch, and then we're done with this round and we're done with the nose. To fasten off, go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch. So there's your slip stitch. Grab the scissors and cut your tail end, and just make sure to leave the tail end long enough so that we can use it to weave in the nose. So I'm just going to fasten it off by pulling that loose end through the loop on our hook. And now I'm going to show you how to attach the nose. To attach the nose, use a yarn needle and weave the tail end through the snowman's face right underneath his eyes. And just make sure to weave through the outer stitches of the nose. I also like to use both of my yarn ends to attach the nose. Okay guys, so after we're done with the nose, we're going to move on to the hat, and we're going to start with a magic ring. And I am starting with a dark blue. And for the first round, we're going to start by chaining 3. And this chain 3 is actually going to count as a stitch, and all of the chains will count as a stitch throughout the hat. Now we're going to place 5 double crochets into the ring. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, there's 3, 4, and 5, and with the chain that's going to count as 6 double crochets, and then go ahead and pull the ring closed. After you pull the ring closed, make sure to slip stitch into the first double crochet at the beginning of your round to join. For round 2, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, there's our chain 3, and now we just need to double crochet in every stitch around. So there's our first double crochet. There's 2. This will be 3, 4, and that's 5, and that will be our last double crochet because remember the chain counts as our first stitch. So when you're done with the round, go ahead and slip stitch into the top of the chain to join the round. So there's our slip stitch. For round 3, we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So there's our chain, and remember that counts as our first stitch. And now let's place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So there's 1, and then place 1 more into the same stitch. Now we'll just place 1 double crochet into the following stitch, and now we'll place 2 into the stitch after that. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch, place 1 into the following, so 1 double crochet, and then 2 into that very last stitch. So there's 1 and then 2 into the same stitch, and that will make a total of 9 double crochets for this round. Remember to slip stitch to the top of the chain to finish off the round. For round 4, we're going to switch to light blue, and we're going to go ahead and chain 3. 1, 2, and 3 chains. And now we'll just place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now remember the chain will count as 9, so we don't need to crochet another stitch. So go ahead and join to the top of the round by slip stitching. And again, that round will give us 9 double crochets. For round 5, again, we'll chain 3, and then we'll work 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So there's 1 double crochet, and now we'll work 2 into the following stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Now let's work 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and then work 1 more into the following stitch. So there's 1 into that following stitch, and now work 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and we'll repeat that again. So place 1 into the next 2 stitches, so there's 1 double crochet, 1 more double crochet into the following, and then 2 double crochets into the very last stitch on this round. So there's 1, and 2 into the very same stitch. Alright, so that will be a total of 12 double crochets, and remember to slip stitch into the beginning of the round. For round 6, we're changing back to dark blue. Remember to chain your 3. And now place 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1, and place 1 more into the following stitch, and now we'll place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Now place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So go 1, 2, and there's 3, and now place 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and we'll repeat that same pattern. So in the next 3 stitches, we just want to place 1 double crochet. So there's 1, 2, and 3, and place 2 into that very last stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and then remember to slip stitch into the very first chain. Round 7, chain 3, and remember this counts as your first stitch. Now place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Now remember that will make 4 stitches in total, and this next one place 2 double crochets. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and now we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, and we'll just repeat this around. 2, 3, and 4. Now place 2 into the next stitch, 1, and 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so now I want you to pause the video and repeat that pattern one more time. So remember to place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then place 2 into the very last stitch. And you will get a total of 18 double crochets when you're done. Okay, for round 8, we're going to change back to the light blue color. We're going to chain 3, and we're just going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and pause the video, double crochet in each stitch around, and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, for round 9, we're going to chain 3. We're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 4 stitches, which that will make 5 because of the chain, and then we'll place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now remember that makes 5. Now in the next stitch, place 2. So 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Now we're going to continue to repeat that pattern. So again, the pattern is place 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches and then 2 into the next, and go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, we're back at round 10. We're going to switch back to the dark blue. We're going to chain 3, and then we're just going to double crochet in each stitch around. So go ahead and finish up that row, and I'll meet you back here for round 11. Okay, so moving on to round 11, again we'll chain 3, and then we'll place 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches, but remember that's going to make 6 because of the chain 3, and then we'll place 2 double crochets into the following stitch. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5, remember that makes 6 because of the chain, and now place 2 double crochets into the following stitch. Now go ahead and continue to repeat that pattern, place 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches, and then 2 into the following, and do that 2 more times. And when you're finished, just make sure to have a total of 24 double crochets. Alright, for round 12, we're changing back to light blue. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 6 stitches, which again will make 7 because of the chain. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this will make 6, but actually will make 7, remember, because of the chain, and then place 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1, and this will be 2. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. Make sure to place 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches, and then 2 into the next stitch, and then just repeat that twice. Okay, so for round 13, it's easy again. Just chain 3 and double crochet in each stitch around. Pause the video, go ahead and do that, and then I'll meet you back here for the next round. Just make sure you have 27 double crochets when you're done. Okay, for round 14, we're switching back to dark blue. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches, which will really be 8 because of the chain. So let's go ahead and do our chain. Now place 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now place 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and follow that same pattern. Go ahead and place 1 double crochet into the next 8 stitches and then 2 into the next, and repeat that twice. Make sure to get a total of 30 double crochet stitches. For round 15, we're just double crocheting in every stitch around, so go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, for round 16, we're changing back to light blue, chaining 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 8 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now place 2 into the next double crochet stitch. So there's 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So go ahead and pause the video again, repeat that same pattern around. So remember to place 1 double crochet into the next 9 stitches and then 2 into the next, and repeat that twice. And when you're finished, you'll have 33 double crochets. Okay, for round 17, again, we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 9 stitches, which again will make 10 because of the chain, and then we'll place 2 into the following stitch. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember, this is 9, but it actually makes 10 because of the chain. And now place 2 into the following stitch. Okay, so now it's time to pause the video. Remember to follow that same pattern. Make sure to place 1 double crochet into the next 10 stitches and then 2 into the next. And repeat that pattern twice for a total of 36 double crochet stitches. Okay, on round 18, we are switching back to dark blue. Remember to chain 3, and now we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 10 stitches, which will make 11 due to the chain. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and remember that 10 makes 11, and now place 2 into the next stitch. So there's 1 and then 2 into the same stitch. Okay, so remember to pause the video here, go ahead and work your next 11 stitches, and then place 2 into the following stitch and repeat that pattern twice. And remember, when you're finished, you'll get 39 stitches. Okay, round 19 is our easy round again. We're just going to double crochet in each double crochet stitch around. So pause the video here, make sure you get 39 double crochet stitches, and I'll meet you back here for round 20. Round 20 is going to be really easy. All we're going to do is switch to the color red. We're going to chain 1, and then we're just going to single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 39 single crochet stitches. So go ahead and pause the video, work those single crochet stitches, and I'll meet you back here for round 21. For round 21, we're going to start by chaining 3, and now we're going to work a front post double crochet. So instead of working your double crochet like you normally would, this is where you normally would insert your hook, is right here, but we're not going to do that. We're going to work it around the post instead. And go ahead and insert your double crochet into that front post. So there's your first front post double crochet. And now we're going to enter it into the back post. So I'm first going to show you where the back post is so you can see where that's located. And now let's go ahead and double crochet into that back post. So there you go. So now we're just going to work those front and back post stitches all the way around. So go ahead and work another front post double crochet, and now work a back post double crochet. So pause the video now and work those front post and back post double crochet stitches. You should get 39 double crochets when you're done, and I'll meet you back here to finish off. Okay, to finish off, go ahead and make a slip stitch into your first double crochet to join. And now go ahead and cut your yarn, leaving it long enough so that we can stitch it in. And now pull that strand of yarn through the loop on your hook. So I would recommend using that yarn end to sew the hat onto your snowman, but if you don't have a long enough yarn strand, just go ahead and grab a new strand of yarn and make sure it's long enough so that you can stitch the hat onto the snowman's head. Okay, so now I'm just going to stitch the hat onto the head, and I'm just going to weave in and out through the stitches. Because my hat stands straight up and I'd rather it be leaning over, I'm going to stitch the middle of the hat down by stitching it to the side of the hat and the snowman, and that way it won't be just sticking straight up. To attach the pom-pom, I'm using some red thread and a thread needle, and I'm using the thread to attach the pom-pom and the bottom of the hat together. So I'm just going to weave in and out of the pom-pom and the bottom of the hat. So to finish him, I just took some black yarn and stitched a little mouth and a little eyebrow above his eye, and then I attached some white yarn to his head underneath his hat and chained 20, and then I reattached the chain back to his head. And that is it, guys. He's finally done. So I hope you enjoyed making him with me, and I will be back again to crochet more with you next time.